Some content creators have been dumped from the subpoena that Blake Lively's team gave to Google, X, and TikTok. The judge also ruled today on those motions to quash, as well as the request for attorney's fees. And that rumor that was going around about Justin Baldoni and Emily divorcing, well, there's been an update to that as well. Up first, we need to talk about the subpoenas. So, as you guys know, Blake Lively's team sent a subpoena to Google, X, TikTok, and whatever other social media companies for information on specific content creators. And when I say specific, I mean specific. Blake's team only issued 7 subpoenas to TikTok for these specific content creators. And if you go to their pages, they're extremely odd. They don't have many followers, but most of them have pinned a specific video to the top of their page. And usually that video is something to do with slamming Blake Lively from back in maybe December. And it would be a video that got millions of views and doesn't match the rest of their content. Now that could be why the subpoena that was sent to TikTok looks different than the Google and the X subpoena. Now Google and X, as you guys know, was just looking for user information for certain content creators, but the TikTok one looked different. It was asking for actual content. So this one says user generated content and associated metadata. In my opinion, the TikTok accounts didn't even look real. Some of them had just started posting content in December or January, and we haven't even heard from any of these people that were included in the subpoena for TikTok, so I'm guessing they were just fake accounts. However, most of the content creators that were included in the Google and X account did in fact look like real accounts. We have no idea why Blake's team chose those specific accounts, but we're all guessing there's got to be a reason. Blake's team sent the subpoena to Google on July 3rd. And again, it's to Google, not those specific content creators. And they were not looking, like I said, for any content on those content creators from Google. They simply wanted the basic information that those content creators had to give when signing on to YouTube and Google. This is an example of what they were looking for from each content creator on Google specifically. This one happens to be the reporter who released the 10-year-old video of Blake doing the interview. Now they wanted basic information like your first and last name, email, phone number, physical address, backup and recovery address for your email, of course, subscriber registration info, length of service. So when you started the account and created it. It also talked about your means and source of payment. So when you sign on to these accounts, if you're going to be monetized or even if you're not, you still have to give some sort of payment method, like your bank card information, your credit card information, something like that, so that Google knows how to pay you. They were also looking for any IP addresses from May until the present and any dates and session times that they had, as well as any IP addresses that were used to upload videos from. Now, despite some of these content creators actually begging to be subpoenaed by Blake Lively's team, once it actually happened and they realized Google was being asked for their information, they weren't enjoying this and they definitely used it for content. And unfortunately, with that came a lot of misinformation. Some of the misinformation that's currently going around has to do with the fact that Blake Lively's team is currently dropping some of those content creators from the Google and X subpoenas. Let's take a look at the actual docket. So the court filing, this is the letter that Blake Lively's lawyers submitted in order to let the judge know that they are dropping some of these content creators from the subpoenas to those social media companies. So this was just posted on July 26th, and it is Blake Lively's lawyers talking about the subpoena to Google and X for July 3rd, and they name a few of the content creators that they're taking off the list. And despite content that people are pushing out, it actually tells you exactly why these content creators have been removed. It starts right here. It says, based on the third party's representations made in meet and confers, public statements, and or information provided in their moving papers, there is no further information required from the subpoenas as to these specific third parties at this time. What they're referring to with the meet and confer. So I've spoken to a couple of the subpoenaed creators and they had their lawyers do a meet and confer. This means that the content creator's lawyer and Blake Lively's lawyers got together, had a meet and confer, got together and chatted, and they came to a decision. They gave information or gave contact information or whatever it was Blake Lively's team was looking for. For those content creators that didn't have a lawyer that could do a meet and confer, they either had a public statement issued or they had done a file to quash on here, a motion to quash the subpoena, where they had listed a ton of information and facts, which is a sworn legal document. Pretty much all the information that Blake's team was looking for was actually in those motions to quash. So names, addresses, phone numbers, all of those things that they had been looking for were either redacted or included in most of those documents or perhaps done in those meet and confers. The lawyer also added a little section here that was just directed towards the judge about what Justin Baldoni's lawyer has been doing with the term untraceable. She just wanted to clarify that they're using the term untraceable because that's the term that Justin Baldoni's team used when talking about this situation amongst themselves. And if you take a look at the bottom line here, it is an email from Melissa Nathan, the crisis PR manager, to Jamie Heath of Wayfair and Jennifer Abel, the PR manager for Justin Baldoni. Now, they're talking about the quotes that it was going to cost to hire this digital army of Jed Wallaces. And the quote that they went with was the $25,000 quote, which they ended up paying $30,000 for because they must have added something. But it says a minimum of 3 months is needed. This will be for creation of social fan engagement to go back and forth with any negative accounts, helping to change the narrative and stay on track. But the very last line says, all of this will be most importantly untraceable. And this second page of her letter just sums up what she said on the first page. It says that they have been doing discovery process, which is aimed at gathering information to link the Wayfair party's activities to sources through YouTube and X content creator accounts. And she says, Miss Lively's counsel has met and conferred with various individuals whose account information is the subject of these subpoenas. So they've been meeting with tons of different people, including the third-party people who have been filing motions to quash, as set forth above, has determined to withdraw the subpoenas. So that's it. That's the reason these names have been removed from the subpoena to Google and X. It's because Blake has already gotten that general information that they had wanted from these content creators. It doesn't look like they actually needed the banking information on how they got paid on these accounts, because I doubt that that would have been part of the meet and confer, and it wasn't in any of the motions to quash. I do find it odd, though, that we haven't seen anything from the majority of the big four that have been listed in Melissa Nathan, the crisis PR manager's company tag. Now, she confirmed that she was in contact with these 4 content creators on behalf of Wayfair and that they were posting content. Now, Perez Hilton has filed to seal his address and things, which I find kind of funny because he's been extremely vocal, begging for a subpoena from Blake Lively's team and very excited about getting it, including doing a whole dancing video. But now he's posting somber and upset videos that he's worried his address is going to be leaked and his children are going to be in danger. As of right now, there has been nothing from Andy on file, although he has commented on this on his page. He was raising money for a lawyer. I think he got like $20,000. Then he immediately went on vacation, was extremely excited about this, thanking everyone for all the money he was making off his videos because of this subpoena. Crickets from Billy and basically crickets from Candace so far as well. This was just filed to the docket moments ago. This is Judge Lyman's response to the motions to quash. Very first paragraph, he talks about Blake Lively's team removing some of the content creators from the subpoenas, and he grants that, saying he's denying them now as moot because their names have been withdrawn. Then he goes into some more details in the second paragraph, and it looks like some of these people that filed a motion to quash decided to also file to receive sanctions and costs to cover their legal fees for this. He says the motions also seek relief on behalf of other non-parties or seek sanctions and costs. As a general matter, only recipients of a subpoena have standing to seek a protective order quashing or modifying the subpoena. He adds in saying, especially given that Lively has withdrawn the subpoenas, there's no cause for the court to award sanctions or costs. And he says that the motions to quash are denied. And the other thing to hit the docket was this. This is a letter from the reporter who released that 10-year-old interview of Blake Lively, the reporter who was basically like blackballed from Hollywood because she sued the Hollywood Foreign Press. Anyway, she uploaded this letter. She didn't want to wait for Blake's lawyers to upload saying that she had been removed from the subpoenas as well, so she decided she wanted to submit her own letter. So she's written saying, I felt it necessary to write this letter so that a record of Miss Lively's agreement to withdraw the Google subpoena, as to me, appears in the court's public file. And finally, last week I addressed the rumor that Justin Baldoni and his wife Emily were getting divorced. People had been reaching out to me about this because Emily had removed Justin's name from her Instagram profile. I said at the time I did not think this was true. They always seem extremely strong, especially in the public. And I speculated she probably removed his name and her children's name because of the hate that they've been getting online. And it looks like that's in fact what's happening. They both uploaded anniversary pictures today and they look happier than ever.